Hey, everybody, this is Mark,
This is Justin.
And I'm Mitch.
and this is Awkward Fist Bump Productions. Boom!
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so I got to tell you all a story. Before we even started this YouTube channel, I had made a comment, and I think just to kind of gauge if I should even start a YouTube channel. And this guy, Mitch Smiley, I had no idea who the heck he was, made a comment. And then I had some other friends contact me. He's like a major YouTuber, dude. And so I started watching your stuff, Mitch. But yeah, he actually encouraged me. And I don't even know if you remember making that comment or not, Mitch, but that was, I don't know, maybe 2.5 months ago.
I
And
did. I did. Yeah.
and I've been on him ever since about doing the show. So we were able and we were blessed, and we want to thank you, Mitch, for coming on the show. We definitely wanted to talk to him, bring him on. Hope you guys love this guest. Um, you know what? Let's just go ahead and jump right into it. Mitch, why don't you tell us about yourself, brother?
Well, I'm 59 years old. I went to prison when I was 17 years old for aiding and abetting a second-degree murder by vicarious liability. It's California, jargon, legal jargon. Uh, and I did 38 years, 6 months, and however many days in California State Prison. And I've been out of prison for 3 years. On the 29th of September this month will be 3 years I've been out.
So we will definitely link it in the bottom here, but he has his own YouTube channel called Hard Intentions.
Well, you said
And yeah, definitely check it out. And the one thing I love about Mitch, y'all, is, and I think Justin loves about Mitch too, is the fact that he doesn't glorify prison. That's not what we're about. We talk about the positive side of law enforcement and the negative side of law enforcement, and and one of those things is prison. And obviously, y'all know me from 60 Days In. Justin did 10 years. And we want to talk about just prison, how it's not as cool as you think it is. If you're watching this show and you're like, hey, dude, I want to live that life, I think Mitch and Justin both will tell you that's stupid. So so let's jump into it. I love, Mitch, what you're doing now. What would you say, I guess, to someone that is talking about even participating in that life? Hey, what I'm doing now, I'm gang banging, I'm thugging, whatever they call it now. I don't know. What would you say to them, someone that's going out doing stupid stuff now?
If a guy's involved with a life of crime, criminal activity, gang banging, whatever, running with his homeboys, thinking that's all good. If you plan on going down that road, um, guys involved with that lifestyle preach, loyalty, homeboy, brotherhood, all that kind of stuff. And I would say 80% of them that talk that smack are not about that. They'll snitch on you. They'll sell you out. They'll fuck you over. They'll stab you, kill you, send you on your way to prison for something they did. And also, that kind of lifestyle's been going on for centuries. They had the Italian mafia for many, many decades. The feds pretty much broke them. You're not as smart as you think you are. There's guys involved with criminal activity for centuries. Al Capone went to prison. He was a pretty sharp guy. Chances are you're not as sharp as him. So get ready to go to prison and live a very meager life at the bottom existence for possibly the rest of your life.
Jeez, jeez. So, both of these guys will tell you, man, it's not worth it. And I think I can speak for both of y'all when I say, if you could go back, whether it be 40 years ago or 12 years ago, when I'm sure the whole process started for you, say it's not worth it, it's stupid. Uh, Golly, man, because I know I've worked, as y'all know from the show, I was a former CO, and it seems like a lot of people, they carry that badge with honor. But I think if they were to take it in deeply and really think about it, they'd think it's stupid. Uh, Justin, what do you want to ask, brother? Jump in on this. I know you've been excited about
yeah.
Mitch for a while.
So it's really cool, man, to actually see you out and doing something positive, man, because there's not a lot of people that come out of prison, especially after doing the time that you've done, and come out with a clear mind and a positive attitude, Like, how do you think that you were able to get into that mindset? Like, how do you think you came out and to be a role model and be positive for people?
I never really expected to be a role model, but you know, while I was in prison, I grew up in a motorcycle culture, kind of like the outlaw biker culture, and like drugs, like drugs are for having fun and making money. And the older guys that I grew up with in a broken home with a violent, abusive stepdad. So I gravitated towards guys in motorcycle clubs, and they said, drugs are for having fun and making money, and if you're not making money, you're not having fun, you're still using drugs, and you're just a dope fiend. And guys in motorcycle clubs look at dope fiends as scumbags. And in 1997, I was in Corcoran, state prison here in California, and I just decided, look, man, all my friends were in lower custody prisons. I was in a level 4 prison still because I had a lot of write-ups when I was younger, and my classification was a higher level prison. And so all my friends were gone. And I said, the money's too risky. Guys are always trying to get over on you. I wasn't having fun. And, I flushed a quarter ounce of speed down the toilet. I said, I'm done, and I started focusing on, my whole prison career, though, I always worked. I was into woodworking, plumbing, stuff like that, so I just started focusing on my job, my artwork. I went from tattooing to drawing, painting, stuff like that. And I just started focusing on positive things. And, I started, I joined the Catholic Church. Now out here in the world, I go to the Orthodox Church. But so I'd say, my higher power led me down a path of positive, just a positive lifestyle, man, with better things to come. And once I made that decision that I was done with that buying, using, and selling drugs and criminal activity, it was like water off a duck's back. It was like total relief. And I just started focusing on positive things in my life in prison, and I didn't let anything stand in my way. And now that I'm out, it's the same way.
Oh, wow.
That's awesome.
So, how hard is it for a person? Because once again, I've been on the other side of the bars and very limited
All right.
experience on your side. But for a person that they want to get out of that life, but especially in prison, it seems like you have to make friends, and it makes your time a lot easier if you're friends with whether it be a gang or a group. So, with that being said, for people that want to get out of that life, what would you say to encourage them? Because I'm sure it's not easy getting out of that lifestyle, that group, that gang, whatever.
Well, I was never in a gang. I was always my own man. I remember I had a homeboy that was in a gang. He was in a prison gang, and I said, hey, I do what I want to do. I make my own decisions. And he goes, he told me, unfortunately, I can't do that because he was in a gang. And later on he dropped out of that gang. But I would just say, don't start down the road of being in a gang. Be your own man, no matter what. But I mean, I had friends that were gang members, and motorcycle club guys, and I had friends that were gang members that were black, Hispanic, Mexican, Chicano, and white, and they knew that I stood on my own 2 feet, and I made decisions for myself based on what was right for myself and for my community. Even though I was in prison, you still live part of a community. And so, I remember going to church one day. I was on the yard, and the guy goes, hey, where are you going? I said, I'm going over here to mass, and he goes, why? I said, because that's what I do. I spent a lot of time in prison doing a lot of bad stuff, and so I think some of the younger guys were a little hesitant to question me about, hey, what are you doing? Because I would just tell them, it's none of your business.
Yeah.
It's not an easy thing to break off, like uh, criminal activity, criminal lifestyle. It's a process, I made the decision and I did it and I just stuck to it. People are gonna always try to drag you back in, like, hey, let's get loaded, let's drink this wine, let's do this, that, and the other, and you just gotta say, hey, I'm not with that. You got to do it in a way that's respectful, though. I mean, I still had the same respect for people that I always had, and I tried to maintain the same respect from them.
Wow. Yeah, because I know, Justin, you didn't get involved in any of that crap either. You pretty much stood on your own as well, didn't you?
Yeah, I never joined anything. I had, like you said, I had a higher power. I got a higher power and my family behind me. So I went down and did my whole 10 years on my own, basically.
Right.
So, how many you were talking about classes like woodwork and things like that? How many different classes were you able to take?
Well, I took vocational milling cabinet, and I also took vocational plumbing. I worked as a prison plumber for 7 years, and I was emergency plumber. So after my regular work day, if they had a problem in the prison, like there was 4 of us emergency plumbers, so I was emergency plumber 2 days a week. So on those 2 days after hours, if they had a problem, they'd call me. I'd go work as a fix an issue. I had a little toolbox, and I could go anywhere in the prison where I had to go by myself with my toolbox, and then I'd fix a problem, and then go back to my housing unit, do my paperwork. But yeah, I was a plumber, but when I went to prison, California had like 12 prisons. Now they have like 34, and the prison guards union in California got so strong at one point they took all the vocational training out of the prisons to save money. They had 180,000 people about in California prison system. That's just state prison. That's not counting the county jails and county camps.
Mm-hmm.
So they focused their budget on, security. And the prison guards union got a lot of money for security, weapons, tear gas, pepper spray, all that kind of stuff, So they did away with the vocational training, unless it was critical to the function of the prison, like they kept the machine shop, they kept the carpenter shop, stuff like that. But yeah, they did away with. So when I went in, all the prisons had vocational training. I had a friend that took the electrician's trade in San Quentin, and years later, in like 1990, they had a thing called inmate day labor, and it's where you work with guys from the trade unions from the street to do a project in the prison. We were doing the hospital, and I was on the roof doing the roof, but he was doing the electricity. And they have a room in the hospital where they do operations, and they flood the room with oxygen, and the electric has to be done a certain way. And the boss came in all pissed off because the guys from the outside were just stuffing wires in the wall, and he was pissed because it'll explode, the room will explode. And he says, well, I'll fix it. And the guy goes, man, you know how to do that? And he goes, yeah. So I mean, that's he worked as an electrician his whole time in prison. He's working as an electrician out here in the world now. But guys learned serious. The trades were serious. I mean, it was a good thing.
And I know working as an officer, and I know you guys have had your share of probably terrible officers, but having done the show, it's definitely opened my eyes to a lot of these guys they're good guys. They made a mistake, but why not like pour into them? Because we as society, don't we want prisoners to be productive when they get out? And what's the best way to do it? Encourage that. Go getting your GED and learning some trade and getting out. So I think that's a bummer, Mitch, to hear that they got rid of a lot of programs. I understand the security side of it, but there's got to be some type of compromise there.
Well, like in the 90s, they had the big tech boom and the dot-com boom, and California was big, fat with tax money.
Wow.
They built like I said, up to like 34 prisons, and they expanded the prison guards union, and we had a governor at the time, Pete Wilson. He gave them anything they wanted. You know, he gave them like $70,000 a year base pay and just all kinds of stuff. So they gave him money, campaign donations, all that kind of stuff. It was pretty corrupt, if you ask me. And they took our family visits, they took our weights, you know, they took our personal clothing. They came out with a clear TVs and radio, started limiting they just were just taking everything from us because that's what the prison guard union wanted. Things are changing a little bit now, but you know, Pete Wilson basically said I had a 15 life term, and under the law it's called a term to life. So my term was 15 years, and if you screw up, you could do life. So Pete Wilson changed that. We had a guy named Archie Fain, he was a rape murder guy. The governor didn't want him out, and the court said, hey, you can't stop his release. So they came out with a law in California that said the governor can take your release date if you have a term to life. I had to go in front of the parole board. They found you suitable for parole. If the governor didn't like it, he could take your release date. So Pete Wilson took everyone's release date, and he took our family visits, and he said family visits are to encourage family ties to the community. He said, well, these guys are never getting out, so they don't need family visits. That was a mentality all through the 80s, late 80s, 90s, mid 2000s up to 2010. For 20 years, I just figured I was never getting out, you know.
Jeez.
Oh, jeez. And see, like one thing I heard on another channel actually today was like the people in society that really don't support, you know, prisoners and the bettering of us. Do you not realize that a lot of us get out and we could be your neighbors? We could be working for the company that you hire to clean your pool, cut your grass. You know, like you never know. Like you're so against prisoners, but we come home. We come home. We could be in your neighborhood. We could work around you, and you know what I'm saying. So I think that they should pour into prisons and pour into trades, so that we have something to do while we're there and learn. You know. Sure. I mean, they spend so much money on putting people in prison that they could send us to college every year. You know. So,
well, California, it's insane how much it costs to keep a guy in prison. I don't know. It's like at one time it was $27,000 a year, then it was up to like $50,000 a year. I don't know, but here's the deal. In California, they passed in California at one time, everyone had an indeterminate sentence. They had to go to the parole board to get out, and because the board abused their authority, they came out with a new law, SB Senate Bill 42. It's made determinate sentence for everyone except for first and second degree murder and kidnap. So everyone got out except us. We were the only ones they could keep in, and guys were getting out and coming back and getting out and coming back and getting out and coming back. California citizens pay taxes. They pay for the prison system. So when you pay for something, basically you're paying for a product. The product they got was a guy who was released every day, and they got a defective product because the prison guards basically took over the system and ran it however they wanted. You know, it was, and we were the only ones they could keep in there because we had to go in front of a parole board. And one of the board members, Leedy, he actually filed paperwork saying that the governor was corrupt and in violation of the law. Because he was telling him, hey, you're giving out too many release dates, basically. And he said, well, that's the law. Because the law says 15 or 25 is your term. Life is the exception. And they flipped it to say life is your term and 15 or 25 is the exception. So it was pretty bad. It was bad. It led to a lot of guys losing hope. A lot of guys saying, hey, I'm going to be in prison. A lot of guys committed suicide. A lot of guys joined prison gangs. A lot of guys committed violence. A lot of guys got strung out on drugs, saying, hey, I'm never going home. I don't care. You know, it was a bad environment for a long time.
And Mark, your screen's frozen, I think.
Mark's just staring at me. But Mark,
I think his screen froze.
yeah, maybe it timed out.
You there?
Back there he is.
There, he's back.
I'm sorry, y'all.
But,
That's probably gonna do the video bad.
It's still recording.
Okay.
You're good.
Well, were you guys able to get some conversation done while I was gone?
Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry,
But you're absolutely right. Guys get out of prison, they get jobs. They're working out here in society, and guys, people that are interacting with have no idea who they are, where they've been, or what their history is.
Yeah.
So, to me, I would encourage people who run these systems to have programs that help guys, adjust, psychologically, emotionally, and vocationally.
Yeah. When I was in, every prison had some prison had vocation classes, most of them had GED and stuff like that, which is really good. But, a lot of prisons didn't have like hands-on classes. And, the level 5 camp I was at, they had the wood shop and they had a upholstery shop. And so, they had a few things, but, it was very few people got to go to there, very few.
Yeah.
And then at the last prison I was at, they finally opened up a diesel mechanic class and a welding.
Oh, wow.
And I was the first class to graduate for the diesel mechanics class. And it was a great opportunity, but now I've heard now that they're able to do more stuff, but at first we couldn't do anything. So it's like, yeah, I went through a 9-month or to a year class, and all we did was read books. And I was like,
oh, wow.
So I mean, we got to take the brakes off, put the brakes back on, take the axles off, put the axles back on, but we couldn't touch the motor. And then they had a $50,000 or $80,000 Cummins motor that just sat there in the classroom, and we could not touch it at all.
Oh, wow.
And the officer or our teacher, he had like 8 different little tags, and he could give the officer a tag and then get the tool. But then if we're trying to do something and we run out of tags, well, then we have to find a tool to give back just to get the other tool. And it was a mess, man. So it's like, I wish that.
Yeah, you were using chits, right?
Yeah,
like chit. Yeah. So out here, all the shops, they have maintenance shops, and then they have like vocational shops, and so they all operate the same way, but they have an inmate running the tool room.
Okay, yeah, they had an officer running the tool room, and it was just like we didn't get to get our hands dirty. So, I cannot say that I'm a diesel mechanic because I didn't get to do that much stuff. I mean, I was grateful for the opportunity, but now I heard that they have a motor that they can tear down and build up, and a transmission they can tear down and build up, and actually get their hands dirty, which I would have loved to have done. And then I also did a class for almost 5 years. I was in a program for the University of Auburn, and we trained dogs for bomb detection.
Oh, wow.
And actually these dogs, there's one always around the president. There's St. Louis has 2 of them for their baseball and football teams.
Wow.
New York Police Department has purchased, I think, 4 of them, and this was years ago, so they could have gotten more.
Yeah.
All the military branches have some of our dogs.
Wow.
Amtrak and at airports. So
that's cool.
Dude, I had so much fun in that program. But the biggest thing about that program that I loved was how I was in prison, but I was training this dog to go out and save people's lives. Like,
it's awesome.
It is actually a program that I know had effect in the community.
Yeah, positive impact. Yeah, they have a lot of the dog programs here in California now, and some of them they train as pets, and some of them they train as service dogs for veterans, and
PS.
yeah, PTSD guys and all. But each prison's dog program has a specific function that they train them for. But it's pretty cool. It's actually really cool. Yeah.
Wow.
I wish that they had more programs like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think the ultimate takeaway here, though, is with the programs or even without the programs, don't go to prison. I mean,
Yeah.
Don't.
I mean, if you are in a position where you are incarcerated and you've got one of them prison phones and you're watching this video, these guys are two great examples of don't waste your time doing stupid crap. Don't.
Yeah.
No, there's plenty of programs, hopefully, and hopefully, if you don't have a program, keep your mind active, read, play chess, do something.
Well, like the federal prison system's run by the federal government, so they have unlimited funds. And then, unfortunately, like California has like the 5th biggest economy in the world.
Yeah.
So they generate a lot of tax dollars. At one point, the prison budget was like $15 billion a year. States like Georgia, they collect less taxes. Florida, different states, they have a smaller population, less industry. So they can't give the money to the prison system that states like California can. So they can't afford to have as many programs as they should,
Yeah.
Unfortunately, that's just the way it is.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, do you have any more questions, Justin?
I would like to do a part 2 if you're good with that, Mitch.
Yeah, seems like we haven't been talking that long. I don't know how long your interviews normally are, but yeah, I'm good, yeah.
I know our schedules are kind of crazy, but yeah, I would definitely love to have a part 2. And if anybody out there has any questions for Mitch or for myself, whatever, but if y'all have any insight, please leave some comments below, and like let's get follow Mitch on his YouTube, his Instagram, and his website. Would you like to plug that?
Yeah, my YouTube is Hard Intentions, and my Instagram is Mitch Smiley at 790. What's funny is now, I work for a forensic cleanup crew. We do contamination cleanup, and part of what we do, we do like murder scenes and suicides, accidental deaths.
Oh, wow.
All that kind of stuff. We clean that up, but we also do homeless camps, and we work with the police. So, I work with a crew of cops, Sacramento police officers. They go in the homeless camps and tell me you got to move, and we go in and clear out all their stuff. Like right now, the levee system in Sacramento's called the River City because all the water runs down from Lake Tahoe and the snow melt into Sacramento through the American River, Sacramento River. And during the summers, the rivers go down. They're just homeless camps all along the rivers and levees, and they're destroying them. So we're going and evicting them and cleaning out all their stuff now. But, it's...
Are you able to drive like bobcats or skid steers and like?
We work with the city guys, drive the skip loaders with a claw. Mm-hmm. And so what we do is we go into where it's at and we drag it all out, load it in our trucks, and then take it out to a big trash truck. Like today, we took, I think, 140,000 pounds of trash out of a camp.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah. And this is all in the river system. So if we don't clean it out, it goes out to the ocean, bottom line.
Oh, my gosh.
So, and we work with the cops. And I told them, I was in prison. I got a YouTube channel and all that. And they started watching it. But
that's awesome.
It's pretty awesome. Yeah.
I wanted you to also, real quick, I wanted you to speak on your artwork. Because, man, your artwork is awesome. And one of my best friends, Cartoon, he's my tattoo artist and he's huge into art. So like, I just wanted to some pointers you might have for people who do artwork.
Are you talking about Cartoon, Chicano guy?
Nah, this guy's from Georgia. He's a black guy.
All right.
I have him on an episode here pretty soon, but
yeah.
I need to get him on he does good work. I don't know if you can see it, but
Yeah.
I had him do that, and
How do you do that?
Yeah.
So he's an artistic guy, but most importantly, you are too. And we want to hear some more about your work. And by the way, real quick, Mitch does have a channel. If you like his artwork, go. I know he advertises his product. He's got shirts. He's got all sorts of good stuff.
I also have heartintentions.com. That's my website. I sell T-shirts and all that kind of stuff. You know, I started as a tattoo guy when I was a kid, going through Youth Authority, and then I started drawing my own tattoo patterns and tattooing. And then I got into painting, colored pencils, painting, all that. It's a progression, you know. So, yeah, you know, I spent many years painting and teaching guys for about 5 years how to do art, how to paint and draw.
Oh, that's awesome.
So, yeah, I worked in arts and corrections. That was my job. I painted for like 5 years. I did artwork that was donated to a children's center to help abused children, and also part of my job was to teach other inmates how to draw and paint. You know, yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Been able to work with anybody since you've been home, or you just...
Not really. You know, I mean, I did a little artwork here and there. Did a painting of a guy, his dad, you know, doing and riding his motorcycle. Then guy Slick Ruler, he's on our YouTube all the time. I did a picture of his brother riding a motorcycle, and I did all my T-shirt designs. I painted them all by hand with acrylic paint. Now I'm making them into T-shirts out here. It's pretty awesome, you know.
That is, bro.
Yeah.
I'm just so glad, like I said earlier, dude. It's just so awesome to see somebody with a positive mind, positive mindset, you know, and to really let the hatred of prison behind and not really let it affect us that much and come home and do something good.
Yeah, and you know, you said it right there. You know, prison's full of a bunch of angry, hateful guys, man, and they blame the society and the world for their problems. And you know, I just realized my problems are created by me. You know, I made some bad decisions, and I just decided that I'm not going to live a negative. I'm not living on the negative. I'm living on the positive. You know, I want to experience life to the fullest. You know, that's part of my faith. You know, the founder of my faith. You know, Jesus said, "Hey, you know, I came so you could have life to the fullest," and so that's what I'm doing. You know, and it's up to us. You know, each individual. If you made mistakes in your life, it's up to you to recognize them. It's what I did. I recognized my mistakes that I made, and I also recognized that I was the one that made those mistakes. I made the decisions that led me down a real dark road, and I had a big, deep hole to dig myself out of, and I made the decision to do it, and I did it. And now I'm living life to the fullest, you know.
Dude, that's so awesome.
That's awesome. Well, we would love to have you back on. We're at a good stopping point, and
cool.
I think I'm having technology issues anyway. So, but we would love. Yeah, you know what's funny about that is we've never had technology issues until we have a big guest on, and then it never fails.
Wow.
But listen, we'd love to have you back on, Mitch. We really would. Thank you so much for coming on.
Appreciate you, Mitch.
So, what's your channel's name again, so I can put it on my YouTube channel?
Yeah, it's Awkward Fist Bump Productions. I will send you a link on Instagram, and that way it's easy for you to find.
Cool. Hey, you know, thanks for having me on, and if you'd like to have me back on anytime, you know, I'm available.
Yes, sir. Right. We definitely will.
Nice talking to you.
Thank you, Mitch.
Thank you so much. All right, if you like this video or you like our channel, show us some love. Hit subscribe, notify. Do the same thing for my boy Mitch, Hard Intentions. Go to hardintentions.com, because I'm telling you, I've looked at his artwork, and I'm going to buy a shirt myself there. But listen, do it. Show him some love. Subscribe. Hit that notify button, and we will talk to y'all later.
Thank you.
Thank you. Boom.
Don't forget, back up, Lane.
Yeah, back up, Lane. That's right. Hey, guys, have a good night. Thank you.